The January transfer window is here, and we thought it was the perfect time to give you guys what you've been asking for. Today, we're breaking down the top 3 left-back options the Reds should seriously consider bringing in. Now sure, we're leading the league, dominating Europe, and cruising through all the domestic cup competitions. On the surface, it might seem like there's no need to tinker with the squad right now, and while that might be true, planning for the future is just as important. And let's face it, the left-back position is definitely one of the areas that needs attention. Of course, big transfers don't usually happen in January, and we all know Michael Edwards and his team prefer a data-driven approach, combined with a knack for seizing opportunities. That means some of the players we're about to discuss could potentially be signed this window, while others might have to wait until summer. So, before we dive in, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let's talk about why Liverpool need to address the left-back position, which players should be on the radar, and the pros and cons of each option. By now, it's probably obvious why Liverpool needs to target a new left-back, but let's quickly break it down anyway. Our one and only Antonee Robinson is now 30 years old. IME flies, doesn't it? And while age is just a number, there comes a point when it starts to show in performances on the pitch. Robbo isn't quite as quick as he used to be, and his timing, whether it's deciding when to step up or hold his line, has been a bit off in recent seasons. Opposing teams have started to pick up on this, frequently targeting his side with long balls. Take Arsenal's opener against us, for example. Saka was fed a long ball down Robbo's side. Fulham gave us similar problems before Robbo's red card, and Tottenham also managed to exploit that area with through balls to Kulusevski before we dismantled them. Now, to keep it short here, if you want a more detailed breakdown of Robbo's struggles, check out the video we posted on that topic. It's a tough topic to discuss, but it's worth a watch. Now, let's talk about our second option, Kostas Tsimikas. Sure, he's been solid whenever he's played, and some might even argue that he's been slightly better than Robbo this season. But here's the thing. Tsimikas is 28 years old, and if we're being completely honest, he hasn't shown enough during his time with us to justify a consistent starting spot in the lineup. So, whether it's about finding someone to compete for this position now, or planning for the long-term future of Varney's project, one thing is clear, Liverpool need to bring in a new left-back. With that in mind, let's dive into some options. We'll start with a big name, one that surprisingly might make the most sense for this window. This is a player Liverpool could sign immediately in January or secure on a free transfer next summer. That's right, we're talking about Alphonso Davies. It's honestly a bit shocking that Bayern Munich have allowed one of the best left-backs in the world to enter the final 6 months of his contract. This kind of deal is the perfect example of Michael Edwards' opportunistic approach. Davies is just 24 years old, meaning he's entering his peak years. His contract situation puts Liverpool in a prime position. Either negotiate a cut price move in January or secure a pre-contract agreement to bring him in for free next summer. Now, we said Davies is one of the best left-backs in the world, and for good reason, but his appeal goes beyond that. When you look at our squad dynamics and the way Arne Slot likes to utilize his fullbacks, Davies checks so many boxes for us. The stats back it up. When compared to other fullbacks across Europe's top 5 leagues, Davies' numbers are nothing short of outstanding. He ranks first in accurate progressive pass percentage and fourth in accurate forward passes. This fits perfectly with the way Liverpool like to play, breaking opposition lines with direct passing through the thirds. Davies also ranks 7th in deep completions. For those unfamiliar with the term, a deep completion is a non-cross pass aimed at the zone within 20 meters of the opponent's goal. To put that into perspective, Robbo is currently ranked 189th in this metric. This ability would significantly boost our creativity in the final third, giving us a much better chance of breaking down stubborn low-block teams, a challenge we've faced time and time again. Defensively, it would be difficult to find a better option than Davies. He ranks 2nd for defensive duels won percentage, which speaks volumes about his ability to handle one-on-one situations. Add to that his electric pace for tracking back and covering space, along with his physicality, he's more than equipped to thrive in a tough league like the Premier League.
It almost sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, there's one major concern with Davies that could make the club think twice. Some might point to his injury record as a red flag, but when you take a closer look, it doesn't seem like he's struggled with any significant fitness issues over the past couple of seasons. The real concern lies in the heart problems he experienced 3 years ago. While those issues appear to be behind him now, it's ultimately up to the club, their doctors and physios to make a call based on his medical history. So if everything checks out with Davies, we see no reason why the club shouldn't go all in. It could be a cheap deal, potentially even free, and you'd be getting one of the best options for the left back position. But what if Davies is off the table? Who should the Reds target as a long-term solution for this role? Well, while it might be extremely tough to pull off in this window, there's another player who is almost certainly on the club's radar. Milos Kerkez, the Bournemouth left back and fellow countryman of Dominik Szoboszlai. So why do we believe Kerkez is on Liverpool's list? For starters, our sporting director, Richard Hughes, was the technical director at Bournemouth when they signed Kerkez from AZ Alkmaar back in 2023. That means we already have someone in the club who knows the player well. But that's not all. Arne Slot is also said to be a fan of the 21-year-old. During Slot's time managing in the Netherlands, Kerkez spent 2 years at AZ, one of Slot's former clubs. As Liverpool's current head coach, Slot likely got a close look at Kerkez while leading Feyenoord in the Eredivisie, so he's already familiar with the player's potential. So, does Kerkez have what it takes to fit into our squad dynamics? Well, the stats say he absolutely does. When compared to other Premier League left-backs, Kerkez stands out, especially in terms of his offensive contributions. He ranks 3rd for offensive duels won, 4th for accurate progressive passes and key passes, and 9th for expected assists and shot assists. In other words, when it comes to attacking output, the Hungarian is one of the best options to have charging down that left-hand side. When it comes to defending, Kerkez can best be described as Speedy Gonzalez. You know, that cartoon character who runs incredibly fast. Well, Kerkez has similar recovery speed, so good luck to any team trying to exploit the space behind him. Plus, playing under Bournemouth manager Antonee Robinson has already molded him into a strong presser. Robinson has turned the Cherries into one of the toughest teams to play against with their well-organised and aggressive press, and Kerkez is a key part of that system. He consistently makes those bold, high up the pitch jumps to win the ball back. That said, there's one concern. Kerkez only ranks 19th for defensive duels won among Premier League left-backs. This raises a few questions. Is it down to his positioning, or perhaps he lacks the physicality needed to dominate duels? Either way, he's only 20 years old, and these are areas that can absolutely be developed with the help of a top-tier coaching team and a strong physical training program. But here's the catch. A deal with Bournemouth is unlikely to happen this January. The club is performing well, and it's hard to imagine them being willing to part ways with one of their best players mid-season. Even if they were, it would take a hefty fee to convince them. That's 2 options down, and now we move on to the final name on our list, Fulham's Antonee Robinson. If there's one word to describe the American, it's relentless. Robinson is constantly bombing up and down that left-hand side, and you probably noticed it in our draw with Fulham, where he caused us all kinds of problems throughout the match. Now, when you see a player putting in these kinds of relentless shifts, you might assume it's to make up for weaknesses in their game when they have the ball, but that's not the case with Antonee Robinson. Not only is he a key figure in helping Fulham build out from the back and progress up the pitch, he's ranked as the 4th best left-back in the league for long balls, but his contributions in the final third are unmatched. In fact, his output in this area is currently the best in the Premier League. Robinson has the most assists among left-backs so far this season. He's also ranked 1st for key passes, 2nd for successful attacking actions and crosses, and 4th for dribble success rate. Simply put, he's an all-round threat down that left-hand side. Defensively, Robinson is no slouch either. He's racked up the 2nd most interceptions among left-backs in the league this season. He uses his body well in duels and has plenty of pace to handle even the fastest forwards. A great example, Mohamed Salah, who's been on fire lately with 6 goals in his last 5 starts, struggled to find goal-scoring opportunities when facing Robinson. In fact, that game was the only one where the Egyptian king didn't score, although he did manage to provide a brilliant assist for Gakpo. However, that assist came from a rare mistake by Robinson, as he failed to close down Salah quickly enough. This raises a valid question. Is this a consistent flaw in his game or just a one-off error? Either way, that's not the only concern with Robinson. The biggest issue might be his age. At 27, Robinson certainly still has 4 or 5 good years left in him, but if Liverpool are looking for a long-term solution, there's always the question of whether his decline could come sooner than expected. Of course, there are plenty of other options the club could consider.
For instance, there's 20-year-old Patrick Dorgu, who's been turning heads in Italy. But the jump from Serie A to the Premier League might be a steep challenge for a young player. Then there's Ait-Nouri, who's having a tough season with Wolves as they battle relegation. However, there are some concerns about his defensive abilities, particularly in one-on-one situations. Other names like Leif Davies, Jorel Hato, and Piero Hincapié could also pop up as potential targets for the club. But for now, we've done our part, and this is where you come in. What do you think of our shortlist of Davies, Kerkez, and Robinson? Is it good enough, or do you have another name in mind? And would you like us to do a dedicated player analysis video for any of these options? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more content.